The cabin hummed with the gentle vibration of the engines, a low and constant sound like a distant heartbeat beneath the glassy sheen of luxury. Cream-colored leather seats glided softly under warm ambient lighting, and the faint aroma of freshly brewed Arabica coffee lingered in the air. It was a private charter flight, but not the kind where everyone knew each other. These were high-profile passengers who paid for silence, distance, and immaculate service. The kind of service Clara had always been proud to private. But Taddy SH, was tired. Clara had been working double shifts all week. A colleague's sudden illness had forced the airline to reshuffle staff, and she'd found herself on flights SH was not emotionally prepared to handle. She told herself SH called jet through it. Just keep smiling. Just be perfect. Just endure. But pressure had a way of making every small inconvenience feel like a personal affront. And right now, the passenger in seat 1A, Sheila, felt like one. Sheila sat by the window, elegant yet understated in a tailored charcoal gray suit. The kind of suit sewn with quiet wilt, meant to look simple, but only wearable by someone who understood luxury from the inside. Her hair, braided neatly into a crown, framed a face that held both strength and graceful poise. SH wasn't talking, wasn't demanding, wasn't doing anything at all except reading a stack of documents on her lap. Yet something about her stillness irritated Clara. Something about how calm SH seemed. Something about how SH didn't look up when Clara made the standard announcement about securing cabin items for landing. Clara walked down the aisle, forcing a smile. "Mom, we need all personal items stowed. We're beginning descent." Sheila did not respond immediately. Not readily, just not instantly. Her eyes traced the words on the page for a moment long before SH lifted her gaze. "Oh, of course. One moment," SH said, her voice even and warm. "One moment." 2 words. Enough to strike a spark into Clara's freeing compa. The cabin was nearly silent. Other passengers watched discreetly, or pretended not to. Clara felt every eye on her. Her cheeks warmed with frustration. SH had asked politely. SH was being ignored. Or so SH convinced herself. SH took a step closer, her shadow falling across Sheila's lap. "Mom, I said now. We don't have time for you two." Sheila lifted a brow, not in arrogance, but in surprise. "I heard you. I just needed to finish one sentence. It is not a problem." But Clara's pride, thin and brittle as glass, had already cracked. "You people always think you can just do whatever you want," Clara muttered, not even fully aware the words had formed aloud. The moment stiffened. The air chunked. Sheila's eyes sharpened, but SH did not raise her voice. "You people," SH repeated quietly. "What exactly does that mean?" Clara felt something inside her snap. A week of exhaustion, stress, unspoken resentment, and her own unresolved business collided into one reckless act. SH leaned forward, jaw tight, and before good things could catch up, her hand moved. A sharp, clean sound broke the quiet. The slap echoed through the cabin like a gunshot. Papers fluttered from Sheila's lap to the carpeted floor. A gasp rose from somewhere behind. The air seemed to freeze in place. The silence after the slap seemed to stretch far beyond the metal walls of the cabin, as to when the engines quieted to listen. Clara's breath came shallow and quick, her pulse hammering in her ears. Shock flooded her face, replacing anger with something much colder, fear. It happened so fast SH could hardly believe SH was the one who had done it. SH wanted to take it back the instant her hand connected, but the sound was still echoing. And Sheila, no, Victoria, though no one yet knew that name, remained perfectly still. The other passengers were no longer pretending not to watch. Heads turned. A man in a tailored navy suit shifted as though he might intervene, but hesitated, uncertain of the dynamics at play. A woman 3 rows back put a hand to her mouth. No one spoke. No one breathed loudly. It was as though every living soul was suspended, waiting for Sheila's response. Sheila stood slowly, gathering herself with deliberate grace. Not a movement wasted. Not a tremor in her hands. SH smazed at the front of her suit, bent to pick up the papers scattered at her feet, stacked them precisely, and placed them on her seat. Only then did SH lift her gaze to Clara, the gaze of someone who had long ago learned that dignity is not something another person can take away. I will speak to your captain, Sheila said, her voice calm, though the calm felt like the eye of a storm. Clara swallowed hard. There is no need to, I just. But the apology stuck, uniformed and useless. The chief steward, having sensed from the cockpit that something was wrong, voices raised, the unmistakable shift in atmosphere, hurried down the aisle toward them. He looked first at Clara's tightened jaw and flushed skin, then at Sheila's composed posture, and he didn't need details to understand everything. Mom, is everything alright? He asked, though he already knew the answer. Sheila did not respond to him immediately. Instead, SH held Clara's eyes, forcing her to really look, into the consequences of her own actions. When SH finally spoke, her voice carried the weight of someone used to boardrooms, negotiations, and silence that makes men fold. I was struck, SH said simply. No embellishment, no emotion, just truth. The stewardess was drained of color. Clara opened her mouth, but the steward held up a hand, sharper than any word. Clara, stay to the galley, now. Clara wanted to protest, to explain her exhaustion, her stress, her feeling that SH had been disrespected, but none of that could justify what SH had done. And deep down, beneath the brittle shell of defensiveness, SH knew it. SH walked stiffly to the galley, legs trembling. The steward turned back to Sheila. Mom, I assume you will address this immediately. The airline will, but Sheila lifted a hand, stopping him. Before you say anything else, SH said, her voice still low but now carrying still, there is something you and your staff should understand. The pilot appeared then, drawn forward by the tension thick enough to taste. A man with decades of experience, he recognized crises the same way sailors recognize storms. Sheila looked at the pilot, at the steward, and at the remaining passengers, inferring no one would misunderstand what came next. My name is Victoria Langford. Recognition flickered, first confusion, then shock, then realization. The name was not unknown. Langford Aerospace, Langford Holdings, Langford International, a name found in financial papers, innovation summits, private industry reports, the kind of name that built aircraft, that owned aircraft. I am the majority shareholder of the company that owns this jet, SH continued. And I am the primary investor in the airline employing your staff. The stewardess nearly buckled. The pilot exhaled sharply. A passenger whispered, "Oh my God." The incident spread through the airline like wildfire before the plane even touched the ground. The captain had filed an immediate report. The chief steward had already contacted corporate. And Clara sat alone in the crew jump seat, hands folded so tightly in her lap that her knuckles itched. SH stared blankly at the cabin wall, hearing every second tick by in the heavy quiet. Each breath felt too loud. Each memory of the slap replayed like a slow motion film SH couldn't turn off. When the plane landed, passengers exited with hushed glances, some sympathetic, most uneasy. No one knew what to say. No one wanted to say the wrong thing. Sheila, no, Victoria, walked out last. SH moved not with triumph or anger, but with the calm of someone who understood power in ways I was rarely glimpsed. Power wasn't volume, it wasn't treatise, it was preciousness. By the next morning, Clara sat outside an executive conference room, hands trembling in her lap. HR officials, corporate managers, and legal representatives filled the room. Clara was called inside. The meeting was formal, controlled, and quiet. No raised voices, no dramatics, just paperwork, statements, and the cold efficiency of consequences. But Clara barely heard any of it. All SH could think of was the look in Victoria's eyes, not vengeful, but disappointed. That look hurt more than any punishment. It was later that week, in a much smaller room, when SH finally saw Victoria again. Victoria arrived dressed simply, no designer suit today, no display of wealth. Just a white blouse, black trousers, and a posture that spoke of unwavering self-respect. The air seemed to shift when sh walked in, not with force, but with the quiet gravity of someone who knows exactly who they are. Clara stood when sh entered. You naive sh, I should speak first. Ms. Langford, sh began, voiced in. Victoria lifted a hand gently. Sit. Clara sat. Sh forced her eyes down. Shame felt heavy, like a stone resting on her chest. Victoria pulled a chair across from her. I did not call this meeting for apologies, sh said. I know you are sorry. Clara's eyes stung. Sh swallowed hard. I am, more than I can say. I know. Victoria's voice was soft, but firm, precise. But apology alone doesn't change anything. Understanding does. Clara lifted her eyes slowly. I don't know why I did it. I was tired, frigid, stressed. But those are just excuses. They are explanations, Victoria corrected, but they are not justifications. Clara nodded, a tear slipping down her cheek. Sh hated crying at work. Hated crying in front of someone, sh I had wronged. I know I judged you. I know it wasn't just frustration. I think, sh hesitated, ashamed of the words even as they formed. I think I assumed things about you. About who you were. About who I was. Victoria didn't scold her. Sh didn't lecture. Instead, sh leaned back slightly, folding her hands. We all inherit biases, sh said. Some we learn without realizing. Some were taught. Some are born from fear. Growth is not about pretending we never had them. Growth is about confronting what we do once we recognize them. Clara inhaled shakily. Victoria continued. I am not pressing charges. I am not demanding your dismissal. Clara blinked in surprise. But I requested something else instead. Clara waited. You will complete a 6-month professional development and sensitivity training program. And then, Victoria paused, letting the weight settle. You will return, not as silent staff, but as someone who teaches new crew members how to treat every passenger with dignity. Clara's broad caught. You want them to teach? Yes, Victoria said. Because someone who learns deeply becomes someone who can guide others. Clara nodded slowly, tears now flowing freely, not from fear, but from relief. And gratitude. Victoria stood. We cannot change what happened. But we can dictate what it becomes.